And by the time he was 4, he was a child who couldn't handle frustration, couldn't deal with other people very well, was very emotional.
When he was 7, and he was so aware of his own personal problems that he wanted to kill himself. He would say, I'd get in bed and say, I'm just going to lay here until I die.
It's very, very difficult. I wouldn't not do it, and I would never, I've never regretted my decision for her to come and live with me.
Kind of went into this depression. I really got depressed, and I was crying constantly, and I was reading everything I could get my hands on, and I was really a wreck.
After having to restrain your kid for 30 minutes, there's not a lot left in you to do that, but you have to, find the strength to do it.
So here I was, tucking in this 5-and-a-half-year-old, and I had to let him know it was going to be okay. He listened to that explanation, was very, very quiet. And then he said words I will never, ever forget. He said, "Oh, I thought I was broken."
We get kids that come and they're really at the lowest point that they've been.
Families and the children usually come to us in trauma of sorts. I mean, they're at their end. They've been burned.
He doesn't have any learning disabilities. We got him tested, and he's quite bright. He's in a genius category, and so we were like, what are we going to do with him? He's got the behavior problems. We want him to learn. Where do we go from here?
Nice trip.
Job is really a job of interpretation.
We don't have the answer. None of us have the answer. And there's no book that can teach you what to do.
And I think a lot of the answer lies in the relationship between the teacher and the student and how you foster that relationship.
I was completely unprepared for this. It's been totally like trial by fire.
He would punch you, he would scratch you, he would kick you. A lot of self-injurious behavior.
Sort of torn between being frustrated and empathetic and not knowing what to do. And by the end of, a week of hours like that, I'm just like, I feel terrible. I feel terrible and I feel hopeless.
I came into work one day and I sat down and I just started to cry before the kids came. And, the whole staff's, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I just said, I think I can't do this. I cannot be here today. But sometimes you just can't help it. And there's days where you're just like, lift one leg out of the bed, pull your pants on, get dressed. You got to go to work today. And the second you see their face and they smile at you and they say good morning to you, that's all gone.
Something that we can do. We can take someone who doesn't express themselves in a typical way and learn about what's meaningful to them. Then that can create relationship, and that creates dignity, and that creates possibilities for a much, much better life for that person than if while we're wandering around assuming that person doesn't have joy and satisfaction.
But I started looking at him with different eyes, and I remember thinking, he's a really great kid. And instead of constantly hearing of all the things he couldn't do, I was starting to look at him as a neat little boy who could do a lot of different things.
They really understand her, and they know that a negative behavior is really just an indicator that she needs help in that situation.
I showed her that he could read. Ian was 9. And I said, look, he can read. And he read to her. And she just started crying, sometimes on the harder days, it keeps me coming back because there's a part of me that says, this kid and this family need me.
I was lost and struggling and hurting, and then I found child, and my whole life has changed. This has been the best year of my life.
What is that guy doing? Definitely, yes. Maybe my mama.
We're all in this together, right? We're all trying to make this work for all of us, not just for us personally, but
I'm
for
not it,
So I need you to make sure that you're monitoring your friends. Hold it together with each other. Like, you know, don't just try to keep yourself together. Try to help everyone keep it together. Okay?
It's just a word. It's not going to hurt you.